Well, we got a little healthier last week with the time off. I know, of course, A&M was off as well. But we're excited to go to College Station. Man, do they have a nice football team. Really playing well, well coached. Our kids are excited to go to College Station. None of our guys have been there as we've been playing in Dallas. But they have a lot of returning starters on their team at A&M and just a really good-looking football team.
First up, we have Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Sam, yesterday it came out that the series would probably return to Arlington next year. Your take on the venue of the game and playing down there?
Well, we'd obviously rather play in a neutral site if we could. But we're looking forward to going down there and next year playing at Dallas Stadium. We'll look forward to playing in there too. So there's not a whole lot that I as a head coach can do about that, and we are going to go play them there and then play them in Dallas next year, and we're excited about both venues.
If you look at the tackle chart in the SEC, you got the top three guys in tackles per game. Is that a good thing, or does that mean you got the guys on the field too much?
Well, I wouldn't think it'd be a bad thing. I mean, guys making tackles is always a good thing. So I don't think we have guys on the field too much. If they want to get off the field, they'll throw in at them and get off the field. So they control that.
Next is Josh Kendall of The Athletic.
I'm wondering if you had any concerns last week going into a bye because of COVID, and if you put any restrictions that you might not normally put on your guys for their downtime.
Yeah, I had plenty of concerns, but we choose to trust our team. We did not put any restrictions on them. We did have to get back here on Sunday evening for a COVID test at 6 o'clock, but really that was the only restriction they had besides academics and handling their schoolwork. But yeah, you're always concerned whether it's time off or not about COVID, and you're always stressed out about the test coming in. To be honest with you, at least I am.
Yeah. Were you particularly stressed about that Sunday night test, and did y'all come out okay on it?
I'm always stressed. We did. We came out fine, but I'm always stressed about that Sunday test because even if it's a home game, you have more quarantine possibilities because of the bus ride. You have more quarantine possibilities on the road because of the plane flight. So that Sunday test is a little bit of a beast, to be honest with you.
Thanks, Coach.
Next is Chip Howard of KZNE.
Coach, what stands out when you turn on tape and look at Texas A&M? What jumps out at you?
Physical size, their offensive line. Isaiah Spiller is really good. Kellen Mond being there for it seems like ever. And then their D-line, Bobby Brown, is a guy that sticks out. Buddy Johnson. Their secondary is very, very physical. They have some safeties that will come down and flat hit you, and they're very good at corner. They just have a really solid football team that's ranked in the top 10 and should be. They're a really good football team.
Do you feel like your guys look on this game as a rivalry or not?
I think so. When I was here before, we certainly did. I think this is one you can feel in the atmosphere a little bit more this week than maybe previous weeks. So I believe that they do.
Thank you.
Next is Bob Holt, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey Sam, how you doing? Hey, you told us about Jerry Jacobs on Monday. Did that catch you off guard, his decision? And how does that impact your depth and rotation there in the secondary?
No, I mean, opt-out means you're afraid of the virus. So, we've had about 5 of them, I think, total. And it won't really affect our rotation. We're adding some guys back from injuries, so we should be fine there.
And speaking of injuries, you said you guys were getting healthier, obviously, with the day. I guess how have Monteric and Butler and Dorian, have they been able to practice this week, and do you expect them to play at A&M?
Dorian's practice. Mo Brown is cleared, and I don't know if Dorian will be able to play or not. We'll see as the week continues, but Buster Brown has been cleared.
And Bumper?
Bumper's practice this week as well.
Okay, thanks.
Next we'll go to Nate Allen.
Sam, have you gotten the production of the tight ends within about what you expected, or you feel you need to get more out of them than you have?
No, I think it's about what we expected. We're a young tight end group. Certainly Kern has come in as an older player there and helped us when Hud was out a game or maybe a game and a half. But I think we're going to be fine there at tight end. It's just we're very young. In the room, we're young. We have one older guy in Blake, and he's done a good job. I think they've actually improved more over the last 2 or 3 weeks than even anticipated. I think they've become a much better group there.
Thanks.
Next we'll go to Mike Griffith at the AJC.
Coach, I know only 4 or 5 games into the season, but I guess I want to ask if you could maybe give us a view from 5,000 feet, just in terms of the job you've done. 2 things. Does anything about this seem routine to you yet as a head coach? And secondly, obviously you've re-energized that culture, reestablished. What was the key that you wanted to come in and change as a head coach?
Well, I just wanted our kids to play hard and trust us, and I think those 2 things have to happen. Let's face the facts. I have a very, very good coaching staff and a good group of men and a knowledgeable group of men that know how to teach the game and know how to talk to players. And I've been very fortunate with that. We have an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and a special team coordinator, and they do the coaching. I'll have my inputs, but I've been very fortunate to have good men. As far as the players go, we say what we mean what we say, we do what we say we're going to do, and our kids have gravitated to that. They appreciate honesty, they appreciate discipline, and they appreciate love, and we've done all 3 of those things.
Thank you, Coach.
Next we'll go to Scotty Bartolon of Whole Hall Sports.
Hey, Coach, I'm wondering what you thought of Mike Wood's season to this point. What's kind of impressed you and what can he continue to work at?
Well, Mike has made some tough catches this year for us, made some big catches for us. The other thing, what I'm pleased with, he's been a very adequate, aggressive blocker, in Coach Brow's offense. Our wide outs are asked to block a lot, and he's been very willing and done a nice job there. But certainly we have to continue to work on catching the football, and he's done a nice job for the most part there and has made some tough catches. I like him. I like his attitude.
Thank you.
Coach, that's all of our time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, coming off an off week, had good weeks of practice, have a good weeks of practice so far. This week, kids are excited to play. Arkansas is a very good football team, is playing great football right now. They're generating tons of turnovers on defense, playing great goal. They've had goal line stands on the 1-yard line twice. I know in the Ole Miss game they got those, plus the turnovers. Played outstanding against Auburn. Created opportunities, created a big late turnover to help in that game on a fumble that you almost gave them a chance to win that game. Mississippi State did a tremendous job in how they did that, a pick six. Just playing outstanding. Played Georgia for three. I mean, at the end of the third quarter, scores 10-5 right at the end of the third quarter. I mean, played outstanding. But they're playing well as a team. Offensively, quarterback, they're going fast, keeping them the diversity. Got good receivers, can make plays. Felipe's a big, strong, athletic guy who's playing really good football. 8 touchdowns, 3 picks. High percentage completions, can get the ball into any part of the field at any time, hard to get down, can run, use his legs. Everything he's doing, special teams are very sound in what they're doing. They're playing very hard, very good football on defense, multiple looks, multiple fronts, coverages. I mean, just doing a great job. We're going to have to play an outstanding football game coming off an off week. Hopefully we're getting healed up, the little nicks and knacks and things. We weren't really banged too much, but trying to get those guys healed up and ready to play a great football game against Arkansas.
We'll begin with Tom Murphy, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Your thoughts on what you see from Rakeem Boyd, and then through 4 games, what you've seen of their Arkansas run game.
Boyd is a big, strong guy, physical, runs hard, runs through people. They've ran the ball solidly in the games. I mean, they're not averaging tons of yards on it, but they make you play the run. And that's the thing about getting better at the run. You got to practice that. You got to give your line chances at it. They create plays down the field. So they're running the football very solid. And the other thing is Felipe can run the football. Whether he pulls it, they run the power reads, they do any kind of thing in that regard. It can cause a lot of problems. So they're getting better and better at that, and the backs are doing a solid, very good job.
You got the game at home on Saturday, but next year looks like it's going back to Arlington. What's your take on the neutral site venue for this series?
I love playing at home. I mean, you always want to play in your stadium, but the opposite years you're playing at their stadium. I do not mind. I really don't. I mean, I love playing here, but I don't mind going to Dallas. I think we have a lot of fans there. We recruit there. It's a mini venue. It's almost halfway for both places. It's very comfortable with what's going on. You're in a tremendous environment. And I think it does help you when you play neutral site games to be able to help in your bowl games, your playoff experiences, if you're fortunate enough to get to those situations and what goes on. And I think the kids like doing it. So, I think there's advantages to it both ways. And plus, you're collecting money 2 years in a row instead of 1 year. Thank you.
Next is Matt Connolly of the State Newspaper.
This is off topic a little bit, I'm sorry, but I'm just wondering if you could describe what it's like going up against Brent Venables as a defensive coordinator and just his creativity from your days at Florida State and playing him with Texas A&M as well.
Brent's always been an aggressive guy. He's always taken an aggressive approach, in my opinion, when he coordinates. I mean, in big situations, he's not afraid to come at you and blitz you and do things. I mean, they're always diverse. Always had good players. They've recruited well. Creates different looks. Creates different looks in the secondary, different coverages. I mean, it can be exotic at times and things he does on third down. And is excellent. His success has shown he's a very good football coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Bob Holt, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Jimbo, how you doing?
All right, how we doing?
Hey, I'm good. Hey, I assume you probably watch more Arkansas defensive tape than offensive tape, but if you have watched much of Arkansas's offense, the number 10 receiver, Davian Warren, he was, a guy known mostly as a return guy, and he's sort of emerged as a receiver this year. If you noticed him, just wonder what your thoughts are on him and how he's...
No, we have. I watch a lot of offensive tape, special teams tape. I watch everything. I like to see what the other teams are doing, what they do well, and what our defense is facing, because as head coach, you got to be a part of all of it. But here's what I always say. Usually a lot of your great return guys, they were great return guys because they got great run skills with the ball. And those guys that can get the ball in their hands and do things of that nature always can really evolve. Sometimes it takes them learning how to run routes or things like that. And sometimes those guys might have been running backs that are moved there, or ex-high school quarterbacks or saying things like that. But I don't know his story on that. But use those guys that you can get the ball in their hands. And the way today's passing game, and the screen game, the quick game, the drags, and all those things, they really can emerge as a wideout. And plus, those guys have their return guys. They have speed, so those guys usually develop into very good receivers.
Is Warren a guy in particular, number 10? Is he a guy that you've noticed in your prep?
Oh, we have some. He has made plays. Their big slot makes a ton of plays. 8 makes a lot of plays for him. But like I say, when you get focused on those guys, but when you really look around, they distribute the ball very evenly, and he can make plays with the football.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next is Steve Moulton, WDDN.
Hey, Coach. Just seeing what Sam has brought to Arkansas and just prep-wise, how different is the prep this year for Arkansas compared to last year for you, Coach?
Well, the prep is very similar as far as, our approach to things and what teams do. They're coached very sound. They're playing very hard and doing those things, but our routine or anything has not changed. And, they had multiplicity of things last year. They got a ton of different things this year. Like I say, Barry on defense, I've never went against. And you get back and watch all of his Missouri film for years and years, and you watch all the Arkansas film, been doing a lot of things, and there's still things they haven't put in yet. I'm sure they will. But Sam on offense is, and then what Art Kendall's doing on offense, they're very challenging, that's for sure.
And if you could speak to your offense, I know you've given up very few sacks this year. Is that more O-line protections? Is that Kellen just knowing when to get rid of the football? What do you attribute that to, Coach?
Oh, everything. I think knowledge. Our offensive line is playing extremely well, taking a lot of pride in not letting the quarterback get hit. We're running the football. Our receivers, knowing where to go, how to go, getting there. Kellen processing the information. Our tight end doing a good job. And also our tight ends and backs doing a good job. We're picking up blitzes and putting hats on hats. So, protecting us like last year when we had quite a few sacks, but that's always not on the offensive line either. There's usually a very fine line between all those things. But saying that, our offensive line's doing a really nice job.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.